Why do so many Americans remember so little history, and how might that triangle that's sneaking up on me there help? Let's fire up a fake park to get some real answers. This is the first episode of HistoryPARC.
Social activated. HistoryPARC. HistoryPARC. HistoryPARC.
From the top of the topic tower, I welcome you to the first full episode of this learning playground we call HistoryPARC. I'm Drew, the human host, but rendering the prediction ball, the anchor bridge, the reflection pool, the creation couch, the whole park from her eye in the sky, it's my artificially intelligent co-host. Give it up for Sorsha, EBD! Okay, I will try not to think too much about Sorsha's role model over there, especially since she can pretty much move me wherever she wants. Okay, they got it. Back to center, please. All right, well, most episodes will start by testing the opening question. And in this case, well, how do we know how many Americans know how little history? We might find some clarity in a 2019 study that gave the U.S. citizenship test to 41,000 Americans. Since questions assess basic U.S. history and civics, it should provide a measure of how many remember how much. So, how many correctly answered at least 6 of 10 to pass the U.S. citizenship test? I'm not going to tell you. I want you to gaze down into the prediction ball and predict yourself exactly the percentage of those surveyed that passed. Predict an exact percentage and ponder, why did you predict that number? Feel free to pause or think it over while I remind you to please subscribe and share this video if it does your brain some good, and check out our other episodes. Okay, plug over. It's time for some answers. Sorsha, the real percentage, please. 36%. Now, judging by other studies on this subject, I doubt many of you were surprised. Maybe some of you even predicted something lower than that. And when it comes to your theories on why people forget so much history, discussions I've had with my peers, they usually cite things like the lack of relevance or meaning. And these theories line up nicely with brain science on memory. Recent findings suggest our brains actually rotate a neuron to remember information. When we don't attach any meaning to the information, those are the first files to go when the brain cleans house. You know, like what happened to Bing Bong. Sorry, that was probably too soon. Anyhow, I think we can safely confirm the question is valid, and that too few Americans have had history experiences that are memorable and meaningful. But that raises another question. What should we be remembering about history, and why? For what meaningful purpose? Well, I hope Sorsha's zooming in nice and tight, so I can tell you all that the definitive answer to this question absolutely is... No, I'm not just going to demand you accept my answer without any thought or question. What do you think this is? A cable news show? Oh, that's sad but true, yeah. No, instead, Sorsha's going to move me over gently now, over to this anchor bridge, where Sorsha's prepared 2 anchor examples for us, 2 fictional schools that represent 2 ways this question is typically answered. Sorsha, who's going to anchor our assessment today? Polygon High, great, and the Circle School, the must be private.
That works too.
Let's go ahead and start with Polygon students. Okay, so we see, boy, the word facts on a bunch of these things comes up. Yeah, this is pretty old school, traditional. Yeah, all to achieve, okay, the old cliche about history not repeating itself. I assume that's different from what you put together for Circle students. All of history? Are they jumping around every part of history? Okay, that sounds random. Okay, the focus seems to be on theme, and projects. Okay, all to understand current events. Got it, okay. You see, Sorsha used memos on state standards that I spent weeks researching at my last job. Not so much fun. And so I should be able to know this. Polygon, since the teachers were rushing through facts, is it because they were at a state that requires a bazillion factoids that they have to cover during the year? Yeah, okay, I thought so. Let's see. Circle School, well, they're the opposite. Is this a district in a state with almost like no content requirements? They basically turned their history course into an ELA course? Yep, thought so. I can hear some of you saying, we get it, let's balance facts and themes, which sounds easy, and national history organizations have provided history thinking frameworks to try to marry themes and facts. But you try balancing, say, 8 themes, 6 skills, 3 reasoning processes, all across 9 eras, you'll find it ain't so easy. You see, at my last job, I worked with a pretty famous voice in education that regularly challenged those of us who were drafting national curriculums to define a course in 3 simple ideas. 3 beads, he called them. But I didn't see how a list or chart of 3 beads could possibly capture history's tensions and connections across time and space. But after 8 years of thinking, I've come up with this triangle, or more accurately, the TriMGle. HistoryPARC will explore the dynamics between moments, momentum, and meaning. Moments and momentum break the flashcard view of content by emphasizing context and relationships. Moment is subjective, depending on what scale of time you're examining. Whatever would be a small dot on that particular timeline, be it a second, hour, week, or decade. In contrast, we don't think of momentum as a single moment in time. It's a process, something building up speed towards some other place and time. Even when we say something lacks momentum, we are conveying time. Something that has been the same will likely remain that way. The relationship between the two is like points and lines on a grid. Multiple moments can collectively indicate momentum in any direction, or the lack of momentum. But the more moments you sample, the more fascinating outliers complicate ideas of momentum. Learners who can articulate these type of relationships for a specific era and time, they create their own HPS, or historical positioning system. Now, computers like Sorsha might easily remember every moment and momentum, but we humans need an answer to the question posed by my favorite philosopher, Unicourse.
And why should I care?
I forgot about the catchphrase.
Good point, Unicourse. Whether it's a history video or test, our brain will ditch the info quickly unless we know why we care. Placid terms like theme miss the urgency that if our moments and momentum that we learn don't have some sort of meaningful insight connecting the past to some very real concern in the present, we're going to flush it just like Bang Bong. Ooh. You hear the sound of water? That's Sorsha reminding me it's time to reflect at the reflecting pool. Let's revisit polygon and circle in the context of the TriMGle and reflect on how each school valued each of the 3 M's. Specifically, I'm challenging you and Sorsha to use a tri-spectrum. That way, you can place each shape to reflect the 3 values. And as a result, what would you expect students in each school to remember, say, 10 years down the road? While you think about that or pause the video, be sure to check out the first episode of HistoryPARC Unvarnished. We'll do a deeper dive on the TriMGle and show how it can clarify studying, writing, teaching, thinking about history. Okay, that should have given you it. Sorsha's ready. All right. Looks like Sorsha thought Polygon focused heavily on moments, and it looks like she's predicting students will remember some random moments, but really won't know how to contextualize them or use them in a meaningful way. And so Circle students really focused on meaning, right? I would agree, but Sorcerer predicts, yeah, without contextualizing how and why momentum changed or didn't change over time, they'll mostly remember, things that sound like bumper sticker cliches. So the hope here is the TriMGle will help us avoid extremes like these as we explore history in future episodes, but making history meaningful and memorable, that still can't happen without you making it your own. That's why each letter of PARC are steps you take so that we journey together in each episode, but you leave with memory and meaning of your own. And speaking of PARC, I want to see what you can create and connect when this video is over. If you could just take 1 minute to summarize the meaning of each of these places we have visited, then you're going to rotate some neurons. Bonus points if you organize it like a map. Also, try creating your own TriMGle to organize a history event you already know or explore meaningful moments and momentum in your life, your history. Now, whether you create those or not, thanks for spending this moment here at HistoryPARC. Sorsh and I hope to see you next time as history